I'm 28 years old. Technically, I'm studying for the bar exam. But really? I'm just unemployed and slowly bleeding my parents dry. I've become the type of person I used to look down on. A walking disappointment. It took me 3 tries to get into college. Not Ivy League. Not a total joke either. Just an average state school. After graduating, I didn't know what to do. I figured I'd try the bar exam. Not because I wanted to be a lawyer, but because saying, "I'm studying," made me feel less pathetic. So I moved into a cheap studio outside LA, the kind of place filled with other drifters like me. Some people were machines. They studied all day like their lives depended on it, and maybe they did. Others? They gave up entirely. Played games, got drunk, slept in internet cafes, wasted their youth proudly. And then there was my kind. The worst kind. Not serious enough to succeed. Not brave enough to quit. We told ourselves we were trying, but we weren't. I hated myself. I wasn't a slacker, but I wasn't a fighter either. Just floating. Some nights, I couldn't take it, so I'd walk to this old arcade near my apartment. Yeah, one of those 90s style places with flickering lights and sticky joysticks. It was cheap, dark, and no one really went there. Exactly what I needed. That night, around 10 p.m., I headed out with a handful of quarters. Just to take my mind off everything, I started playing Tekken. And then, someone sat down at the other side. We were evenly matched. Every round, every combo perfectly timed. It was frustrating, but also kind of fun. The kind of frustration that reminded me I was still alive. We kept going. I have this routine when I get serious. First, I shake out my hands. Then I take off my glasses. If I still lose, I go wash my hands. It's a dumb superstition, but it makes me feel like I'm resetting. And that guy? He was just as into it. We played round after round until I ran out of coins. I got up to leave. Check the time, 11:30 p.m. I rushed home to grab more change. When I came back, he was gone. Empty chair. No sign he'd ever been there. I felt oddly disappointed. And for some reason, kind of lonely. I went back to my seat, played one last game, then walked home. But just as I sat down at my desk, I realized something. My glasses were gone. Panic hit me like a wave. They weren't cheap, and without them, I was pretty much blind. I ran back to the arcade. Most of the machines were off. The lights dim. The clerk was sweeping up. I rushed to the Tekken machine. No glasses. But then, I noticed another pair, 3 seats over. Definitely not mine. But I picked them up anyway. Put them on. They fit. Perfectly. Same prescription. Same comfort. I actually laughed. What are the odds, right? Someone even dumber than me left theirs behind. Feeling oddly lucky, I stood up to leave. And that's when it hit me. That feeling, that sharp crawling sensation across my neck and back, like something was wrong. I looked around. The machines were off. The lights were out. But I could still hear game sounds. Low mechanical beeps, like something was still running. Somewhere, there was no one there. The entrance door was open. So I bolted. As soon as I stepped outside, wham! Something slammed into my face. I let out a sharp scream and dropped to the sidewalk, clutching my nose and lips. Pain exploded through my skull. My eyes were watering. Blood dripped into my mouth. I looked up, barely able to open one eye. A utility pole, right in front of me. I walked straight into it. But that didn't make sense. I could have sworn it wasn't there before. Still dazed, I stumbled home. Too shaken to study. I crawled into bed and passed out. That night, I set up my laptop like I always do. Logged into this old online game. Used a bot to farm items. It was stupid, but it paid. Sometimes I get rare drops worth up to $300. I angled the screen so I could see it from bed. Just enough to monitor the bot. I drifted off. But at some point, I woke up. The room was cold. Too cold. I blinked and looked at my laptop. It was off. Weird. I sat up and reached for my blanket. Gone. Pillow? Gone too. That's when I noticed something else. I could see. Clearly, the room was pitch black, but somehow I could see every detail, like it was illuminated. Except, it wasn't normal light. It looked like night vision. But not green. More like grayscale. Everything was tinted gray. Except one thing. The glasses I picked up at the arcade. They looked normal, colored, real. Everything else was gray. But those glasses, they had color. That's when I knew. Something was very, very wrong, and I had no idea what I had just brought into my home.